Hey, welcome to the Story Studio podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our favorite tools. It's too bad Dave isn't here to sing some Tool. Not that that's an easy thing to sing. It's not the easiest genre/band.
He can sing sober. I've heard him do it before.
Yeah, I remember that song. I heard Faith No More's Epic the other day, and I was like, wow, this takes me back to that same era as Tool sober. Yep, good stuff. Okay, so we're going to be talking about our favorite tools, but I'm realizing like I'm vamping a little too long. Dave's not back yet, and I was going to say something about something cool, so we just have his empty chair. I'll just get some clips and just pretend that he's here. I actually don't really. I was trying to think because on the last episode I didn't have one, and I kind of don't again because it's the same day. I didn't have time to get a new one. Do you have a second one, or I don't know if Dave has one? He was insistent on He said let's skip this one last time, which tells me maybe he has one that he's saving. Cool.
Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, let's ask him. Dave, do you have something cool?
Why can't we all be so?
Oh, there it is.
No, my something cool.
I said something cool, not something tool.
Doesn't that make you feel like Dave was just standing beside the computer this whole time listening? Like something out of Paranormal Activity, he's just standing there.
I think he might have.
Yes.
I would like to have like a found footage movie starring Dave.
And the whole premise would be I found this footage of Dave and he'd just be sitting there.
Yeah, well, like
the masturbating ghost.
It's just like the tension of like, is he gonna go off? Is he gonna rage? Is he gonna kill himself?
Haven't we gotten lucky with the found footage movies in the world that there's always been something interesting? There was always the risk that we just find some footage of like
mundane.
A toad. Right. Here's security footage of The Office.
Me going through the drive-through.
Because I mean, I find all sorts of
bag of
footage. It's never interesting. Yeah. So, do either of you have something cool?
Yeah. Like I watched the first season of Westworld back when it came out, and then I didn't have HBO for a while.
Season 3 comes out next week.
Yeah, somebody gifted me HBO for Christmas, and I just started watching season 2. Did you watch season 2 yet?
Yeah, I've seen season 2.
I have not seen season 2.
I really like the first episode. I like what they're doing. I like all the the questions it asks, and
there are some great things about season 2. It's not. Well, finish it.
There's always a huge hurdle for me when I have to subscribe to something I don't already have. So that's why I haven't made it back to it.
Well, yeah, somebody gifted it to me, so I had no excuse not to watch it. But there's something so weird about there's a scene where the show's about robots that are very human, and they've been given backstories, and they think they're human. And they're just this one scene where they like crack open the robot's brain and they pull out the thing that's basically their essence. It looks like a fucking one of those new light bulbs. But there's just something so weird about like when you think about what makes us, our souls and all of that, like imagine it's all distilled into one like little fucking thing. And without that, you're just this husk of nothing. And I just got depressed watching it.
Doesn't everything make you depressed a little bit, though?
A little bit, yeah.
You're existential these days, too.
I am fucking very existential.
Yeah.
Well, Existential Dave would make a great reality show.
Westworld is great. There were a few issues I had with season 2. But overall, like it's a good show, and I'm very, very interested in season 3. And I have a feeling season 3 might make up for what I wanted some of the things in season 2, because some of the things in season 2 are just awesome. And
is it ending with season 3 or?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think there's a lot of story to tell here, and I feel like it could go on for a while. So, have you seen Chernobyl, Dave?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Is that also HBO?
That's also HBO. It's written by Craig Mazin, and I've heard it is just great. And I went and I looked at the reviews on Amazon Prime, for the HBO thing. It has like 1,500 reviews, and it's all 5 stars. It's like the best thing I've seen on HBO.
It is one of the best reviewed shows ever.
So. Well, yeah. I want to know why the hell HBO won't let you download shows. So like I'm taking a flight tomorrow, and I had one hell of a time getting episodes of Watchmen so that I could watch them on the plane.
Mm.
It's like, come on, guys.
HBO
I already
Go doesn't let you do that? Isn't that the
no.
point?
Well,
No.
they have HBO Go and they have HBO Now, and I don't know what the difference is, and like whatever. I just subscribed, but it's like, come. I just got over myself and got HBO, but I'm only gonna have it for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, HBO Go is if you already have like HBO through your service provider, like you get cable or whatever. HBO Now is, you know, what most cord cutters use.
But why would you? What's the point of getting Go if you already have HBO?
You wouldn't get it. You would only get Go if you have cable, like you know.
So you
used to
get
all those,
Go if you have
get
cable.
Go. It's free.
You don't
pay
have to
for
like
it.
go pay for it. Okay,
Right. You
I
are a
figured
paying
Go.
customer.
Yeah, Go kind of implies it would be for going places. So maybe you could like download things.
Yeah, they should allow that.
Maybe that'll get sorted out when they have HBO Max this spring, because that is
Johnny's like, another one. What the fuck?
Yeah,
The whole thing is so aggravating to me.
yeah. So my something cool, I'll actually talk a lot more about during the episode, but it's something I played around with all morning, and it's actually where my head.
I thought you were going to talk about that.
It's an app called Notion, which it looked like something that we were going to have for.
Right, I remember this.
Yeah, we were potentially thinking about it as a common tool for the studio, and it doesn't have. It's amazing for like a single user, but it doesn't have, and even sharing some stuff as far as sharing, but it doesn't have collaborative task management. So it's just not. It doesn't. It won't work for us as a studio, but I started playing around with it, and I could talk a lot more about it and why it is great when we talk about tools. Coincidentally, it just fits today, but it's kind of an amazing tool, and it might be overkill for a lot of people, and it does, you know, it is a subscription service, so some people just object to that.
Well, you get 100 blocks for free, but that'll be eaten up quickly.
Yeah, it's 1,000, but it's still.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But it goes fast. Yeah, like I've just been playing with it just this morning, and I hit 1,000 blocks and had to upgrade. But I knew I would. Like I devoted my morning to moving in, kind of. So anyway, that's my something cool is Notion, and I'll talk about it more when we talk about the tools that we use.
And as previously mentioned, I have nothing. So let's move to the portion where we talk about the tools that we
Nothing
use.
cool.
And no, I mean, cool things, but nothing that I could modularize until you like nobody would care about any of the stuff that I think is cool. Yeah. So that's that. All right. So what about tools? Because actually I think that this is a profession where you can be very scant on tools. Like really, if I have a computer and Scrivener, I'm good. And the rest is sort of performance enhancement, I guess. So where do you think the line on that is as far as writers? We don't necessarily need a lot of tools.
No, and I think the fewer tools, the better, actually. I think it's really easy to get carried away. It's also really easy for writers we love our procrastination, right? And we love making lists, and we like getting reorganized. Like these are all things that we do instead of writing. And I was guilty of it this morning for sure. But I've been looking for a tool for a little while. So I think less is more. And that's why I actually like Notion, is because if I do it right, it's eliminating a lot of other tools for me. So like, that's it. I want to use less things, not more things.
Well, what is it? Give me the elevator pitch on Notion.
Okay, so for a long time, I've like, wouldn't it be great if I had one dashboard? So, you know, the promise that we had for Story Shop that never panned out, like, you know.
Vaguely. May know something about that.
So like, what if it did this? And what if it did this? And every time we were talking about features, the whole point was, if you're writing, you should never have to leave this environment, right? So for me, it's like, if you're planning, you should never have to leave this environment. So when I'm planning, there's a bunch of stuff I use. I use Day One for journaling and like capturing ideas. I use Notes for like, I'm going to talk about this on Brain Trust. I'm going to talk about this, you know, in Area 51, and try to keep those separate. I use Fantastical. I use, obviously I use stuff like Slack, but that doesn't really matter for this. I use Things for actual task management. I use Airtable for
Still using
spreadsheets
Airtable, really?
and
I thought that we
tracking.
weren't. I guess you personally kept with it because the company hasn't.
Yeah, personally, right? This is all stuff I use personally to track and measure and plan.
You're using
And
all of those things all right now?
yes,
Holy
that's my whole
shit,
point.
that's way too much.
That's my point, right? So like, but I
Paying
need
$100 a month for all this shit.
I need something that's like, you know, like a spreadsheet thing. And, you know, Airtable is the best spreadsheet stuff. I need a calendar. I need a journal app. I need a task manager. These are all things I need. And what Notion is, it allows you to build your perfect system. So it's basically you build the dashboard however you visually think, however you, oh, and Dropbox Paper is another one I use to like think things out. And this has that same functionality.
How do you use Dropbox Paper differently than Samepage?
I don't use
or
Samepage.
Notes for that matter, like Google Docs. You know,
I don't use Samepage, and I don't.
No, we used Google Paper for a little while, and I never got it. Like I was never like, why do I care about this? Why is this a big deal?
It's a different way of thinking. So, like the Avalanche was created on that because it's a thinking space. It's different. Like I'm not going to think as well in just a doc with a blank page.
Well, I'm sorry. Can I ask why? Because to me, that's what it looked like, a doc with a blank page.
Yeah, but it's not, because it prompts you. It allows you to like, okay, I'm gonna insert an image here, and it's just really fluid. It feels like it almost.
I never used it as a composer, so.
Yeah, it almost feels like the software is like a little bit collaborating with you, and that sounds weird. It's not AI. It's not like that. But
no, as far as Dave's concerned, most of the world is trying to collaborate with him in secret, like that Alexa.
So
I'm not talking to her anymore.
Alexa, burn down the house.
Like I want to track habits, for example. If I'm trying to get a habit going, and I need a spreadsheet to do that, I need something where I'm actually looking and able to measure it. And so, it could be numbers instead of Airtable. It just happens to be Airtable. But so Notion allows you to create your own dashboard and how you want to do it. And so like today I slacked Neve while I was messing with it, and I said, oh my God, this app is just kind of amazing, but it also melts your face. Like there was I was watching YouTube videos.
Oh, me too. I have like a playlist of like 20
wait.
videos.
Okay, so you've started to check Notion out?
I was using it to actually help somebody else with kind of building habits, because I know. Fuck you.
Wait.
I was going to avoid saying that in a good for you, Dave, sort of solidarity play, but Sean was like, fuck you.
You're such a dick.
Wait, can we? No. Can we do a separate episode called Dave Life Coach?
You remember when Sean was coaching people on having a small nose?
Dave, can I please? Are you somebody's life coach?
Fuck you. I hate you.
This is my favorite thing ever.
Why aren't we doing worst show ever?
So tell me, how did you teach them to build habits?
Fuck you. I'm not having this conversation.
Bonnie says she's ready to sign up for life coaching from Dave.
Do you think in this paradigm, habit stacking is taking all the books that you've gotten but didn't read and stacking them up?
All the books on habit.
Stack them on top of your NutriBullet and recumbent bike.
I would like to imagine the room full of people. They're like, hey, who needs life coaching from Dave?
Imagine Dave is the Tom Cruise character from Magnolia.
I hate you so much.
All right. So I was going to say that the idea of Notion, I was going to say that all the writers who were interested in learning new tools tuned out as Sean is talking about Notion. So I'm a little surprised that Dave said he was in a Notion, but do we have other, because you said that that's probably overkill for most authors. So
I think it's overkill to figure it out. Like, I think what was really missing, it's clear that writers don't use this, because if you look at all the templates, they're for designers and like pretty much any profession you can think of except writers. Although bloggers were there, but like not people who are writing fiction.
Any profession you can think of. Sounds like a challenge.
But here's the thing. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to recreate what we had in Story Shop for the planning stuff in Notion. And that's the part of Story Shop that we all loved, before it turned into Writer and we were disconnected from the creation tool that we had. Like, we're going to be able to recreate that same thing. It does
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it did everything that Story Shop did except for the writing part. So we can build in characters and you can link to things. And so I'm just starting to figure it out. But no, I think I'm going to be able to bring my whole process in here. And here's my task list, and here's my track management, and here's my basically anything I would use day one things. But it can all be in one place. So I just go to one place. Our story garden will get moved into there. I can actually develop a full story and then share it with somebody outside of Notion. So we could do another show on this after I've cracked it, and maybe Dave and I can share our life coaching strategies on how to do Notion, because I do think it is great for authors. Actually, I think the problem is figuring it out, and I could see authors getting lost in the distraction of it. And for a lot of other professions, you could just go borrow other people's processes and templates. And since there aren't those for writers, that is, a block. But the software itself, I think, it's amazing. Some of the most amazing software I've ever seen.
One of the things that's kind of fun is, you guys can't see this, but we have studio chat going on, and Bonnie made 2 totally unrelated comments that were spaced out responding to things. But if you read them together, it's pretty great. I'm ready to sign up for life coaching from Dave, but we can make our own template, can't we?
Yes, Bonnie, we can make our own template. And I was actually thinking about
Dave's
you today
life
and
coaching
thinking
template.
how awesome it would be to get some templating stuff in here. And to answer your question about Samepage, I think it is like the Samepage portion is very similar to Dropbox Paper, and that is a functionality in there. And I could do that in Samepage, but I'm not using Samepage for anything right now. So that's the answer to that.
I think Dave's life coaching would work better as a flow chart than a template. It'd be like, stew in your negative emotions. Do you want to kill yourself? No. Go back to step 1. I can picture a whole thing. It'd be pretty great. Dave, what tools do you use other than Notion for your life coaching business?
I don't want to. I hate you so much. Well, mostly Scrivener and for writing. Obviously, that's our big tool. And the brainstorming thing that Scrivener made, Scapple, I think it was called. I use that when I'm very visual. I need to plot shit out. I need to see.
I never got into Scapple.
I only use it when it's really difficult timelines I'm trying to figure out, or I need to be able to move shit around. Because I can't remember all the sequence of events or the dates or whatever. So I need a flow chart basically. But honestly, when I'm writing or plotting out a story or I'm stuck, I always break out a journal. I have to write by hand, because that helps me think in a way that I can't think on just typing. There's a disconnect when I'm typing a story and I'm in it, I feel it, I'm like, boom, I'm there. And that's great. But if I'm trying to figure shit out, it's pen and paper for me all the time. And I think that kind of goes back to, drawing and stuff like that. When drawing helps me think. So I think the act of writing helps me think.
But not just any pen, right?
No, a Pilot V7.
There you go. I knew it was a Pilot. They're going to come out with a Pilot V8. You're going to be so mad.
I would love it. It'd be a bolder one. The V5 is actually a thinner line, which I don't like as much. Unless I'm doing cross-hatching and drawing. I can go for 10 minutes on this if you want.
Are you ever working with a V7?
V7's perfect.
Are you ever working with a V7 and think, I should have had a V8?
Yes.
Boom. I'm pretty minimal with my tools. I mean, I'm basically using Scrivener, and I recently started using a Pomodoro app. Actually, I mean, this is a podcast success story. The only reason I started doing Pomodoros again is because Jen made us for one of these shows pick a tool, and so I did, and that's actually proved really useful. It helps me structure my day, especially that long break. You get every 4 Pomodoros, at least according to this app, you get a longer break, and I've been using that. And so I find that I'm through my writing, but I've also ticked off a bunch of little shit, which is great because I've done it in the 5 minutes and the 25-minute period.
Okay, so why Pomodoro doesn't work for me is because 25 minutes is too short a block. So like if I start writing and 25 minutes out, I have to pull out. Like I don't get a chance to get a flow. And Johnny, it seems to me like you would want flow. So is 25 minutes, is that enough for you?
Well, it certainly worked so far. And I wrote the previous book because what I was going to say is what I'm working on right now is a project that when it's done, I think it'll be the best thing we've
You're
written.
gonna have fireworks in your
but right now,
right?
I fucking hate it so much. Like I just want to punch its face. And so that I need that because without the Pomodoros,
okay, I understand
everything
that.
would be
I can edit in Pomodoros, no problem. Then it actually makes sense. I get more energy.
Because you're like, yeah, if I can just get through 25 minutes, man, you can do 25 minutes.
But it doesn't work for me when I'm writing. Does it work for you when you're writing? Like you copy?
Well, that's actually how I started responding was the one that you've written or the one that you're reading right now or revising right now or whatever that was that you liked and everything. Like I wrote that in Pomodoros. So something about, because my natural tendency is to just flow and flow and flow. And that works great until it doesn't. And then something in my brain doesn't really get that I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. There's a moment where even once I'm in flow, like the flow ends and I should take a break, but I don't because I'm already quote unquote in flow and I've convinced myself that I'm in flow. And so I just need to keep going. And that can work, but it can also burn me out. So I think that forcing myself to take that 5 minutes and then plus like the way that my brain is wired, I love to accomplish things, especially little things. And so those will be used as procrastination tools because they're little. Like, oh, I need to make that dinner reservation right now while I'm writing. And so if I can do it in a 5-minute break, then I've taken the break and kept myself fresh, but I've also accomplished something. And that makes me feel like, moving through my day, which is nice.
Okay. So help me with this because the hardest part of writing for me is actually not writing. I always enjoy writing when I'm writing. The hardest part for me 100% of the time is starting. And so it's just that first sentence. And I have so much resistance almost always. So
that's where Pomodoro helps.
How?
Because 5 minutes is so short, at least for me. Like I don't lose any momentum in 5 minutes.
Maybe I should try it.
For me, it helps. And I like knowing you have to write. It's an artificial deadline. Obviously, I care so much about deadline. No, but it's
You're
more
the most allegiant person I've ever met.
Yeah, but it's a very pressing deadline, and it's self-discipline. Well, it's not self. I guess it's discipline to keep you in line. And for me, like just knowing, like it kind of clears the decks and gets my brain ready. Okay, boom, I'm gonna write now. Now the thing about if I'm in a flow, though, I ignore the stopping point until I kind of run out of steam.
So it's like
I could see doing that.
Yeah,
I absolutely
could too. Like you have permission at 25 minutes.
Yeah, because for me it's a restriction. It's making me do the thing I need to do. It's so doing more of it isn't a bad thing to me because I'm not I'm not gonna fuck up by writing too much unless I'm just writing shit. So,
okay, so yeah. Bonnie says 25 minutes drive me nuts. 50-minute Pomodoros work great for me.
Yeah,
Bonnie,
you can adjust them.
Yeah, but Bonnie, do you take 10 minutes off there for every 50? So it's pretty much the same? Because that's my problem too. 5 minutes, yes, it's only 5 minutes, but that's hard for me because I don't have a little thing in 5 minutes. If I check Slack, then I engage in conversation.
Oh yeah,
close your eyes and relax.
Now, see, I will use because the other tool that I use like a lot is Things, and if something needs to if there's a discrete task in say Slack, because Slack can be a bottomless pit, so can email. If there's a discrete thing like there's a discussion in one of the channels that I need to respond to. Like I know that there's something in there I need to respond to. Then I'll put, Area 51 Slack discussion or whatever. Like I'll put that in Things because I know that that's a 5-minute response. Like that specific thing. It's not going into Slack. And it's got to be way worse for you than anybody else because everybody talks to you and nobody talks to me, which is how I like it.
Dave's man, you guys have both managed to do that. It's pretty impressive. So Bonnie answered, no, I take 5 unless I need a bigger break. And my break is always movement. I walk or do yoga or do a headspace meditation or something like that.
Yeah, I do force myself to get up because, I don't want to fucking have stroke or whatever.
Well, I think that we actually, I would like to revisit this topic in this episode in like a couple of months, because I am pretty good about developing systems that are strong and get me in flow. And I don't have one right now. I'm kind of in between. We've changed a lot of things in the company, and I'm really happy emotionally and creatively and in a good space, but I don't feel like I have my flow right now. And so I am revamping my tools. I am revamping my system. And I think that, whatever I figure out, I'll be able to share. But
the other thing that before I leave Pomodoros, because this, we already did the kind of efficiency and habits, and I know we're supposed to be talking about tools, but just to mention this, one reason that I think the Pomodoros by the way, the app I use is called Focus Keeper. It's nothing special. It's a free one. I'm sure there's a billion other that are just as good, but that's the one that I have. And the way that it's set by default is 25, 5. So 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. You do that 4 times, and then the last time, instead of 5 minutes, you get 25, and it works that way. And so one of the reasons I think this works for me is because I usually use that 25-minute break to practice on my keyboard. And the reason I think that's kind of neat is it does 2 things. Number one, that's about the amount of time I want to practice each day at least. So it accomplishes that, which can easily slip through the cracks. And it's creative, which I don't know if this is true or not, but it feels to me like I'm using a different aspect of the same muscle. It's kind of like cross training. So I'm doing a creative endeavor, but it's different than the creative endeavor that I've been doing. And that code switching seems to help refresh me a little bit.
Yeah, I buy that. I like that.
That's kind of neat. And then I also I mentioned Things, which you had mentioned as well. And then I have been using Brain FM. I don't know if I'm totally sold on it yet, because normally I listen to music, and Brain FM is music, but it's just kind of ambient.
It's not really music.
Right. Yeah. And
it's like a cross between music and binaural beats, maybe.
Oh yeah. Or white noise, which is what I've written to before, where there's nothing in particular.
The lo-fi YouTube channels.
Right. And I actually use the lo-fi Brain FM. So that makes perfect sense. But I don't know, something about I think it's because this current project is really hard. And I think that once I get in flow again and I'm working on something that has some zip to it, I could see myself going back to writing to my own music, not music that I've done, but music that I enjoy listening to.
You should do it to music that you've done. That would be
I can record an album for you.
I have a life coach that could maybe help me. Yeah.
Primal orgasmic screams.
Your 25-minute breaks while you're practicing piano, just record that shit.
So, but I have been using Brain FM for that, just because it's a way of, like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know that I feel that it's like unlocked my brain's capability or something. But it does effectively shut out the noise. It does keep me focused. And when I use it, because one thing I haven't mentioned yet is in the afternoons. In the mornings I work here in my office behind my desk, but in the afternoons when I work, I like to go out, get a change of pace, sit out on the porch, sit out in the front room with the laptop. And when I'm out there, I put that in, and it is like earplugs, and it works really well for that, for shutting out, Robin watching TV or Sydney doing her homework or something. Right. I can be with them, but shut them out.
Yes. Perfect.
That's a Dave cocktail.
Except Dave does it with like those partitions from an office.
He teaches all his clients that.
Imagine Dave sitting on the couch, but he's got like 4 cubicle walls around him.
It's just like a VR headset. I'm here, but not here.
Dave, do your clients come to you to win their marriage?
Can you imagine a how to win your marriage coaching service?
Fuck you.
I totally can. I think I'm going to write about it in the next book.
I hate you all.
I actually don't really think I use anything else in that. I mean, there's kind of boring stuff, like technically we're using Dropbox, I use the internet, but there's nothing else really. I mean, we use Vellum as a company to do our compiles, but if I was totally on my own, I'd probably just use Scrivener.
I would use Scrivener if we were on. No, actually, I probably would use Vellum because I've heard it's really easy and beautiful. I've just never used it. And Scrivener bugs the shit out of me on compiles.
Scrivener changed their compile, and now it does confuse me. It didn't used to confuse me, but with 3, they really changed it.
Yeah, I like it as a creation tool a lot. I've never liked it as a pre-production tool.
pre-production I don't normally need to do, and so I don't have a pre-production tool.
Yeah, but I think Notion's going to solve that for me. So it's kind of amazing that Notion's going to be able to help me do pre-production for fiction and planning for my life and my business. So like, I think it's going to be a magical app, but I'm just scratching the surface of it. So I'm just making shit up now. But Dave, that's cool that you're starting to use it. I didn't know that. We could like, give me your playlist.
Well, yeah, okay, I'll do that. I haven't quite figured out like I got a habit tracker up in a couple things, but I haven't figured out too much beyond that. There's some things about it that like annoy me, and it's a rabbit hole to try to learn and figure out.
Yes.
I need a Notion coach.
Yeah. I got into it this morning. I'll show you. I'll just do a screenshot of what my homepage looks like.
Okay, all right.
Like I figured that out, and then I'm just like, I realized this is something that you play with a little bit every day and learn. You can't just like, okay, I'm ready for Notion, and a day later you're
share that stuff in the partner channel, because I'm intrigued. It does feel like it might be overkill for me, but I do like dashboards, and I love things in one place. So.
It's so, and what I think you only take what you need. It's only as complicated as you make it. Like I'm looking at some people's setups and I'm like, oh no, right? But
that's like the people who read Lifehacker and are shaving microseconds off of every little thing they do.
Yeah, I just don't need that.
I don't know that I would use it for like sensitive information because I don't know if it's encrypted end to end. Because I've read some criticisms on it, so I wouldn't like store passwords and shit in there. But
yeah, I don't need it. I have 1Password for that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need it for that. That is another thing on our tools that we use. We do use 1Password to share passwords with them.
I need a better email tool. Are you still using that email service that Andre?
Oh no, I used that for 1 month. And
did you like it?
I liked it, but not for $30. Like.
Yeah, I'm using. I do need a new email solution. I'm using Spark, and I hate it.
But I use Airmail.
Yeah, see, the only reason I use this program, even though I hate it, is because every time I consider changing, everything else doesn't do the things that I want to do. Like the regular Gmail app doesn't have a send later, and it has a bunch of swipe commands that help you go through your email really fast that I like, and nobody else has that sort of thing. So I wish that I had an email program I liked, but Spark is a pain in the ass because it takes forever to sync and stuff doesn't show up. So
well, it is only 2020 right now.
Right. That's the same criticism I have about Zoom. Come on, guys.
Email, but email is a cutting edge technology.
Mm.
No sarcasm.
There was that brick wall there. Are we done talking about tools or anything else? I mean, we can be done.
Well, Dave, do you want to talk about any manual tools? Like your pilot.
Oh, I figured this was a joke.
His hair, anything like that.
The hammer I used to silence my critics.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to pan left, and it's going to look like that scene out of Pan's Labyrinth when the guy goes to like interrogate the people.
I'm the monster with the eyeball hands.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The Pilot V7, my favorite pen. Journals.
How about journals? Do you bullet journal anymore?
There was an episode of Worst Show Ever about Dave's bullet journal. If you want to go back.
I do like a very loose variation of bullet journals. Usually I just, shit I need to do, I write it down on an index card and leave it on my desk. And it's a very temporary sort of thing until I figure out a better system. I do like writing shit down when I plan though. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, I was just going to give, I don't know if this was on your playlist. On one of the videos that I watched this morning, I thought the guy had a really, really great idea, which was just like tinker around with Notion, play around with it, look at the templates, and then take out a piece of paper, which like I did. I did this on paper and like draw out what you would want your dashboard to look like and like how you would want to use the information, because it can do whatever you want it to do, so it's just a matter of you decide, but decide with intention. And I think that's really cool because, okay, so I was explaining this to Cindy because she came home from yoga and we went on a little walk with Fisher, and I was all excited about this new tool. And I'm like, it's like, I've never been excited about a productivity tool that I've told Cindy about, like, ever, right?
She must have been so wet.
Wow. Right there. could have said excited.
I know. Just Jesus Christ.
For working out, the yoga.
Do you tell your clients these types of jokes?
I hate you. Go on.
So I was comparing it to like, all right, so in '88 or whatever, when we were all playing, well, not all of us, because Johnny had a sad childhood, but when we were playing Super Mario Brothers, right?
Yeah.
I played that at like friends' houses or something.
I played the Donkey Kong.
So when we were playing Super Mario Brothers, like that was amazing, but you could never have imagined designing a game like that yourself, right? Unless you were. But now they have Super Mario Maker, right? Which is like you just.
I think they have 2 of those. I think they have Mario Maker 1 and 2 of them.
They do, and you can make your own level, and it's super easy, and you can share it with other people because they've made the building blocks where you just place them where they go. So that's the metaphor I was using is like, oh my God, you basically have this. What is your ultimate productivity tool? And you could just Super Mario Brothers level that shit. And then you have your tool that doesn't look like anybody else's tool, even though it uses.
It does sound sexy. I do like getting things just right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So send me screenshots, whatever discussion you guys have.
Yeah, I've never had a chance to make my own dashboard like that. So Bonnie says she's loving it. Yeah,
it does sound awesome.
The only page I'm done with so far is a what to watch queue. So I have like this like whole thing with like, okay, that's a TV show on HBO, that's a documentary on Netflix, whatever. And so like Cindy's always like, okay, what are you gonna watch next? And I have all these things in my head, but now, okay, what are you in the mood for? Boom, boom, we'll go watch it.
Is it do you have to pay for it, or is it a free app, or
it's $5 a month.
A month? Okay, cool.
But
I thought it was more, or is that prepaid for the year?
No, prepaid for the year, it's actually $4 a month, and you get a $10 credit. So like I could pay $30 and I have it for the next year.
Oh wow!
It gets more if you have teams. They charge $8 per person, but which would be like I'd gladly pay that for the company if it worked for the company, but it doesn't. So whatever. Bonnie says, I've been putting recommendations in all media and made a list of decisions I need to make with research links and experiments I want to try. I closed 30 tabs in Chrome that have been open for weeks.
That's attractive. I've pared down my tabs because I used to do that, but they always sneak up. They're like weeds in the garden. Like, look, there's more tabs pop. I have like 6 of them now, and I usually have like 30.
Yeah, it's for like if you use anything like Evernote, it would take the place of Evernote.
Yeah, I couldn't move into Evernote. I tried to have that be my master list maker, but the problem is it just felt like a bunch of individual documents.
Yeah, I never connected with Evernote. I tried several times. I even took
Me too. I tried hooking it to my camera. I was taking like pictures of lists of things that I needed and doing the ACR text.
There is an app on Apple and iPad that I like. It's called Bear. And it's like,
of course it is.
Is that
what your life coaching business is called?
I've heard good things about Bear. Dave, tell me more.
It's just very simple, very pretty to look at. You can change the color schemes and all that. And they have a free version. The free version doesn't let you sync, but if you only use it on one device, that's cool. If you do paid version, you can sync between iPad and your computer. And I just like it better than Notes, and you can do hashtags to like categorize stuff. So there's like a left-hand column, so you can like just click the hashtags, and like all the notes will come up.
But if you use Notion, then there's nothing that Bear would have that you couldn't also get in Notion.
Well, I haven't figured out Notes on Notion yet, because like adding blocks and shit just feels like a pain in the ass for every note you want to write. It feels, I don't know, maybe it's, I haven't figured that part out of it, how to use Notion quickly. For me, like so far, it's been just a monumental pain in the ass to do the one thing I did in it. So I don't know if I would
sound complicated.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. And like my love affair might wither very quickly when I can't get it to be as nimble as I want it to be. But right now, like I'm still in the infinite possibility.
This is like a new OS. I'm going to wait for you to battle test it and tell us.
No. That's a smart thing to do for sure.
But it is my favorite note. Just quick and easy,
Bear
simple.
is.
Notes app, and it seems to be less of a memory or resource hog on my Mac. Because I feel like Notes kind of Apple's Notes slows it down a bit more than Bear. So
That would stand to reason because Apple. Never mind.
It's not like they have the inside track on technology and can make things seamless.
Well, it's a little bit like making a deal with Amazon publishing.
Oh, maybe it's just that I have a zillion Apple Notes and it's syncing every single one of them every time I pull it open. I don't know, but
Maybe.
But anyway, yeah, Bears and it's pretty, and you can do like the markdown and all that. So it's very pleasing to look at. It's easy on my eyes. That's a big thing because you could change the color schemes. And
can you use the Story Shop Blue?
No, they have good colors.
Notion does have dark mode also.
They're also talking about coming out with a companion app for Bear called Cookies. It's gonna be great.
I heard that.
I would love that.
All right, so those are our tools. If you have any that we should know about, let us know. And as usual, if you guys have suggestions for things for us to try out or discuss or questions or anything, email us at help@sterlingandstone.net. And any final word? Any final thoughts before we go?
No, but now I'm all like hyped to get all productive again.
DaveLifeCoaching.com.
Quick, grab the domain.
I think it should just be Bear Coach. BearCoach.com. I'm registering that shit right now.
I really wish we were doing Worst Show Ever still, because Dave's life coaching would be a great episode.
BearCoach.com. Oh, there is a Bear Coach.
Is it for gay dudes?
No,
bears?
live life better. My mission is to help you realize your greatest potential. Dave, is this you? I'm gonna be. Dave's
it's like when he did that thing where he would like spoof, self-improvement people, and
oh my God, Dave is so trolling us. The Bear Coach. This is a real thing, y'all.
Does it coach you how to be a bear? Or does it coach you like through the metaphor of bears?
Live like a bear.
It's like having a personal trainer for your life.
It's like that bear simulator that you can get those games.
Pursue the things you love.
There should be a Dave simulator game.
It'd be like the Vegas bus.
I'd play the shit out of that.
What's he doing now? Still in the chair.
So the Dave Coach, or the Bear Coach, he wears many hats: as facilitator, navigator, partner, friend, advocate, and sometimes consultant. Dave, how do you have time to do
That's
it all?
too many hats. I wouldn't want to sit behind that guy in the movie.
You got all that time to do that, but not right, you fat fuck bastard.
Oh my God, Dave. If you are the Bear Coach, just touche, congratulations. This is your best joke ever.
Bear Coach is going to get all sorts of business now, and like, what is going on here?
I would love it if
all these people are going to be like making Dave references.
I would love it if Bear Coach now had enough to retire.
Let's get
Dave was still stuck in Hugglefuck.
Let's get the goof on Bear Coach somehow tied into the goof we were making on Bucky's and Beaver Nuggets for Book Funnel.
Definitely. Bear Coach. Bear Coach is making.
All right, everybody contact Book Funnel and ask them about bear coaching. All right, thanks you guys for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.